So, for further clarity, y'all, to this Kaepernick situation, I want, and especially to a lot of the people who are uninformed about who Kaepernick was and who he is now, I want y'all to understand that Kaepernick, who he was when he was a player, as an NFL player, I don't know who he was personality wise or anything like that, but as a player, Kaepernick was somebody with a great running game, with a great system around him, with a great head coach around him. Um, from the time that he was pulled in to replace Alex Smith, Alex Smith, who was 7-1 at the time that he had a concussion, he was 7 wins, 1 loss. Um, Colin Kaepernick stepped in for when he had a concussion, and that's how Colin Kaepernick even got the chance to start in the NFL. All right, Colin Kaepernick was someone with a very impressive arm. He could really throw the ball, as well as he could run the ball. Um, See some of the quarterbacks what they're doing now. Some of the quarterbacks at that time it was Kaepernick and Cam Newton that were really running this style of offense. Um, the type of offense that Lamar Jackson is running now, and Deshaun Watson. Their capabilities of what they're doing now. All right. As far as accuracy, and that means putting the ball in the right place on time, that was never really Cap's forte. Um, he could throw a bullet that you know was pretty accurate, but a pat, basically what's called a dig route when the wide receiver is pretty much stationary. Hitting running receivers wasn't his forte. In other words, I'm saying all of this to say that Colin Kaepernick wasn't in the upper echelon of quarterbacks. He was beneficial of a system. And when that system changed, his game went down and then he got benched, all right? So, the narrative that came out early on was that Colin Kaepernick was acting out because he was benched, all right? When they put him in this position, it further extenuated that this was more about playing status because of not that I'm saying that's what it was, but that's I speak to y'all about optics when we talk about these situations. I speak to y'all about how things look because I don't know that man's mind. None of us do. The optics of it is once he was no longer playing football, he really hadn't championed the whole movement in which got him out of the league. He started to focus on himself. All right. So the way that he's acting now, and this is just to capitalize on what I said before, the way that he's acting now is as if he was the number one quarterback in the league at that point, and he wasn't. The way that he's acting now is as if he was the when he left the league, he was the best quarterback in the league. And he wasn't. He was somewhere in the middle of the pack of the starting quarterbacks, probably between 16th and 20th best. All right, but is he good enough to be on a team? Absolutely. Is he good enough to be at least be a backup? Absolutely. Can he start on a few teams? Absolutely. Nobody is taking that away from him. But what it boils down to is how he handled the situation. The fact that it looks so planned, like he gets to this place, and just about everybody there, with the exception of the people who showed up from sports stations and sports casts and all of that stuff, and the eight scouts that actually came to watch the workout after it switched. Everybody there had on some form of a Kaepernick shirt, and they were already there. They were already there in place, as if this was planned well before. So he just looks like a misfit and a rebel, and he just and to the real people who have followed this story the whole time and who have been rooting for him and who are being objective and honest about the situation, it looks like he was trying to trying to pass a different message other than I want to be back in the league. And it almost looked like the letter that he sent out a month ago was to bait the NFL in order for him to do this to the NFL. And that's like I said in the last video. And I'm not going to speak on this for a while after this. But it's like I said, unless something new come out or whatever the case may be. But for now, I'm not planning on speaking on this for a while. The letter that he sent out a month ago, where he was talking about he's reached out to all 32 teams and they're still blackballing him and all whatever the case may be, and he's ready and all of that stuff. It was almost as if it was to bait the NFL into doing this, so that he could do what he did. No doubt he felt betrayed by Jay-Z when Jay-Z took the deal. No doubt that he felt basically some type of way. Almost like an ally switched sides on him and started firing shots. But if when you look at this, and now it's starting to come out that Jay-Z actually had a hand in setting this whole thing up from the inside out. That Jay-Z and Roc Nation had a hand in setting this whole thing up. It's starting to look like Colin was just salty and feeling like even someone that he thought was an ally turned against him. So I have to do something in response to that. I have to shun that person because my former ally is now with the enemy. That's what it looks like. Show off.